The city of Dallas still reeling from a downtown ambush that left 5 police officers dead and 7 injured. How local police departments are reacting coming up.
An early morning crash claims the life of a Lexington man. The details ahead at 4:30.
Coming up, we'll take you to the Capitol, where a committee discussed the potential of medical marijuana in Kentucky.
WKYT News starts now with First Alert Weather.
Good afternoon. Sam Dick and Amber Philpott reporting. Flags flying at half-staff in Dallas, Texas today after at least one sniper killed 5 police officers and wounded 7 others during a peaceful protest.
The Dallas police chief has called it a, quote, coordinated attack. We will have the very latest on the situation in Texas in just a moment. But first, we need to update you on some strong storms that have been moving through our area right now. Let's check in now with our chief meteorologist, Chris Bailey, on this First Alert Severe Weather Day. Chris, we can't seem to get away from this stuff, can we?
Yeah, exactly right, guys. As expected, these storms continue to come at us in waves, and waves have been adding up with a lot of heavy rain. Counties that are shaded in the green, and we have several under flash flood warnings. No active severe thunderstorm warnings anywhere across Kentucky, so that is good news. Even better news, what we're looking at on your Defender Radar Network, is that this latest round of thunderstorms, about an hour from now, is going to be out of Kentucky. So weather's going to clean up a little bit from northwest to southeast as the evening wears on. Still flash flood warning for several counties into the Bluegrass region: Boyle, Garrett, Jessamine, Madison, Mercer, and Woodford. Also into Madison, Jessamine, and Garrett counties, just a different part of those areas. And into Estill, Jackson, and Rockcastle counties. Richmond had a little stream and street flooding earlier. Heavy rains are getting ready to press off to our east and southeast, and then we may actually see a peak of sun about an hour or two from now. Farther south we go on Interstate 75 and west. Get into Pulaski County. Brand new flash flood warning that is out. That includes downtown Somerset. That'll go until 7:30, though the heaviest rains are now off to our east. Very strong thunderstorm on top of Whitley City in McCreary County. If you're watching us over into Williamsburg, that is coming your way. May have some very high winds with that. Corbin, look at all the lightning. Wow, what a light show we've been getting from these storms so far today. Manchester, London into Hyden, across the Leslie County area. Looks like flash flood warnings have just been issued for some of those counties as well. Breathitt County, flash flood warning where we've got some street flooding there across Highway 15, I believe, with a foot of water on it into the Jackson area. North of that, it is a steady band of heavy rain setting up shop. But all of this is going to finally wind down as we go through the next few hours. Guys, we'll continue to track what's out there and focus on the weekend when I come back in a few.
Chris, thank you. Authorities have apparently finished an initial search of the home of a suspect in the deadly attack on Dallas police officers.
Agents carried several bags from the home of Micah Johnson in the Dallas suburb of Mesquite. A Texas law enforcement official identified Johnson as a suspect who was killed by police with a robot-delivered bomb. 5 officers were killed and 7 wounded in that attack last night at a downtown Dallas protest.
He was upset about Black Lives Matter. The suspect stated he wanted to kill white people, especially white officers.
The peaceful protest was one of several held across the country last night in the wake of 2 officer-involved shootings of black men in Minnesota and Baton Rouge. Law enforcement agencies across the nation, including right here in Kentucky, are talking about what happened in Texas.
WKYT's Caitlin Sentner talked with officers in Berea. She continues our top story team coverage.
Even though we're halfway across the country, many police departments here in central Kentucky have been paying attention to what's going on in Dallas.
These officers and any officer who are killed in the line of duty, they give their life in service. You know, that's unfortunate that this happens, but we prefer to say that they gave their life in service. They didn't lose their life.
Lieutenant Jake Reed has seen posts everywhere that these men in Dallas lost their lives, but he says it's much more than that. He says they paid the ultimate sacrifice. The news is rocking law enforcement across the country. Those here in central Kentucky are briefing their officers, but Reed says he feels incredibly fortunate to serve the community he serves.
We work so well with the public here, with our city council and mayor, and we're very supported by those folks and the community. So I think in this part of the country, in this part of the state, we're very fortunate.
The Berea police chief has just asked his officers to be extra vigilant today. In Berea, Caitlin Sentner, WKYT.
Communities all across the country joined Dallas in a moment of silence late this morning. The London Police Department and the Laurel County Sheriff's Department were among those who paused at 11:45 to remember the lives lost. Officers flashed their blue lights for 1 minute this morning in memory of the fallen officers in our nation and for our nation's unity. Kentucky Governor Matt Bevin is also reacting to the Dallas shootings. He said, quote, "We are deeply offended and heartbroken by the cowardly assault on police officers in Dallas. As a society, we must strongly condemn acts of violence against innocent lives, especially those who put their lives on the line to protect us. United we stand, divided we fall."
We will have the most up-to-date information on the Dallas shootings on air and online at WKYT.com.
Right now, we continue to track some breaking news involving the disappearance of a Kentucky couple. State police now say Robert Jones and Crystal Warner were murdered. They were last seen Sunday night after checking on rental property in Washington County. State police have arrested the man who lived in that home. 52-year-old Craig Pennington has been charged with 2 counts of murder. Police say they have not recovered the bodies yet. We have a live report from Washington County ahead for you. Stay with us for that for WKYT News at 5.
And that story just developing really in the last 30 minutes with that new information. So let's go back to weather now. Another round of strong storms rolling through Lexington today, bringing with it heavy rain and a lot of lightning, as Chris showed us.
Yeah, and a man working on a Lexington home had to go to the hospital after lightning hit nearby. WKYT's Victor Puente has more on the close call.
Lightning caused problems at a few different Lexington homes today, including one that hadn't even finished being built. As the first round of those storms came through Lexington, Don Young was returning home from the grocery store. He said as he went to unload his groceries, a lightning strike next to his home shook the ground. He went outside and said he could see the electric pole behind his home on fire. Kentucky utility workers said a fuse burned out. They came out to replace that fuse and to remove a limb that had fallen on power lines next to Young's home. Across town on Bay Springs Park, a plumber working on a model home had to be taken to the hospital after a lightning strike next to the home shocked the man. Another worker at the scene told me they expected him to be okay and that he was talking after that lightning strike. Young said he's never had any issues with storms before, but today was a close call.
We've lived here for over 40 years. Never has lightning hit that close. I mean, it jarred the garage where I was coming out of it and everything else.
There were other workers at that home that was under construction, but no one else was injured. In Lexington, Victor Puente, WKYT.
Young says he did lose power for a moment, but it was restored within minutes. A deadly crash claimed the life of a young man in Lexington early this morning. It happened shortly after 1 a.m. on Harrodsburg Road, just inside the Circle, when the driver lost control and hit a tree. Police say 24-year-old Dalton Womack of Lexington was heading outbound in the 2000 block of Harrodsburg Road near Springdale when he went off the road and hit a tree. We're told Womack was the only person in the car and no other cars were involved in the accident. Womack was unresponsive at the scene. We're told he died at the hospital a short time later. Supporters of legalizing marijuana hope momentum from other states will sway Kentucky lawmakers, convincing them that now is the time.
Our Mike Linden is in Frankfort with more on the issue.
Here at the Kentucky State Capitol Annex, a Senate committee got together to discuss the advantages and disadvantages of one of the bluegrass state's most controversial issues, legalizing medical marijuana.
While marijuana is still classified as a Schedule I drug, Kentucky lawmakers discussed the potential to follow in the footsteps of several other states and legalize the controversial plant for medical use. Lawmakers heard from law enforcement, medical marijuana advocates, and from medical professionals about the uses for medical marijuana in Kentucky. While the issue has never been taken to the Senate floor for a vote, legislators have not ruled out addressing the issue at the start of next year's session in January. For Senator Perry Clark of Jefferson County, legalizing medical marijuana in Kentucky is a no-brainer.
Whereas me as a critical thinking adult, that I can't look at the evidence, the overwhelming evidence, and say that, well, if cannabis is good for me, that's what I'll take as my medication, that's what I'll take as my painkiller, that's what I'll take as my leave, and then whether or not you not have that choice to do that.
Senator Clark says the earliest in which medical marijuana could potentially become legal in the bluegrass state is the year 2017. At the Capitol, Mike Linden, WKYT.
The Senate has already legalized the use of CBD, or cannabidiol, for the medical use. The compound comes from marijuana but lacks any psychoactive qualities. As we have been reporting, it has been just a horrific day for law enforcement officers across this country.
Cities across the U.S. paused just before noon for a moment of silence to honor the 5 Dallas police officers killed in the line of duty. Here's a look now at the Lexington ceremony.
For the very recent tragedy in Dallas, we ask that all able units to assist us in a moment of silence by exiting the roadway and activating your emergency lights.
The Solidarity Lexington Fire Department joins the Lexington Police Department in doing so. We appreciate your service to our community. Take care of each other, and as always, stay safe.
All units, we appreciate your service to our community. Take care of each other. As always, stay safe.
WKYT First Alert severe weather day as we have showers, thunderstorms coming at us in waves for the past, 2 weeks now? Putting down a lot of heavy rain. All the counties in green, flash flood warnings. Newly issued severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Harlan County into Leslie, a small part of Clay and far eastern sections of Knox County. Looks like northern sections of Bell County as well. We'll get you up close and personal on that shortly. By the way, that cluster of thunderstorms, get on out of here over the next hour, should be into parts of Virginia. Still some heavy rains coming in behind that. Numerous counties under flash flood warnings. You'll see those pop up. We'll give you a rundown on each and every one of them across our part of the world. And again, we have a ton. Downtown Richmond, little street flooding earlier. Hang in there 5 minutes, 10 minutes from now. The heavy rains are going to continue to shut down. East of 75, east of Mount Vernon, now getting the heaviest rains to pull on out of town. Flash flood warning Pulaski County, including Somerset. Newly issued flash flood warning for London. That includes parts of Laurel, Pulaski, and Rockcastle counties. Also, big-time thunderstorms heading into Williamsburg right now. That's that thunderstorm complex we were watching coming out of Wayne County into McCreary County to the northeast into Corbin, and especially now for the folks across Barberville here into Knox County. Wow, oh wow, look at the lightning associated with this. Flash flood warning Clay, Knox, Laurel, Leslie, Clay, Leslie, Owsley, and Perry counties. Those are 2 new flash flood warnings, and just issued before I stepped out here, severe thunderstorm warning until 5:15. Bell, Clay, Harlan, Knox, and Leslie. We were pointing toward that a little bit ago. Oh yeah, flash flood warning into Breathitt County as well. Highway 15 near Jackson with a foot of water covering it. You still have another hour of heavy rain coming through, but most of this is now sinking to the south of Interstate 64. At Lexington, you may actually see some peaks of sun coming up over the next hour or so. Still some showers and storms to plague southeastern Kentucky. Severe thunderstorm watch has been dropped into central Kentucky, and it's likely to be dropped into eastern Kentucky over the next little bit. Still the possibility of flash flooding, and that flash flood watch kind of overlapping with some of those counties. Better weather coming for the day tomorrow. It is sunny into the afternoon especially, less humidity, and temperatures will not be too bad at all. Sunday, mainly dry. I can't rule out a thunderstorm or 2 across southern parts of the area. Then we go into the day on Monday, scattering of storms still around with some locally heavy rains. Now, is next week's pattern going to be as active as what we've had over the past few weeks? My initial look at next week, and I'll tell you, we've been awfully busy with just what's going on this week, but my initial look into next week says probably not as bad, but given how wet the ground is, any thunderstorm that goes up can cause a few issues. I've knocked the temperatures down as well. The heat continues to advertise itself. It just doesn't deliver right now because the thunderstorms are stealing the show this summer, and that'll likely be the case again into next week. But the weekend looks really good.
Pretty incredible, all that lightning on your map.
Yeah, at
there.
one point today we were tracking about 5,000 strikes every 15 minutes with those storms.
Serious.
It's a lot of lightning.
Yeah. Chris, thank you.
I'm Deanne Stevens, out and about at Jenny Wiley Theater, where they are working 9 to 5 for you.
Working 9 to 5, 9 to 5.
Some fun from the theater when we return here on WKYT.
It is an outdoor theater in the beautiful eastern Kentucky mountains, the Jenny Wiley Theater.
And you can catch everything from the Sound of Music to Bye Bye Birdie. Our Deanne Stevens has the details from Floyd County. Hi, Deanne.
Working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living, barely getting by. There you go.
No, there you go. You notice I kept the microphone on you so people would continue to tune in because they hear you. They're going to be like, oh, turn that up. And they hear me and they'll turn it off. So, hey, guys, we are here at Jenny Wiley Theater in Prestonsburg, Kentucky, Floyd County. We came to Eastern Kentucky to check out the fabulous things they're offering here. Jenny Wiley Theater has 9 to 5 going on right now. And this is Miss Dorley. Her name is Hannah. She plays Dorley, Dolly, in 9 to 5. What an awesome role that would be to play.
It's a dream. I love Dolly Parton. I've loved her since I was a little kid. So I'm living right now.
Listen, Dolly would be proud of the rollers today.
Oh, good. Well, you know, like she said, it takes a lot of time and money to look this cheap. So I get up early, I roll the hair, I don't wear makeup because I powder it on later today.
Yes. Well, you got showtime to think about, that's for sure. You've played in a couple of roles here, Hannah, at Jenny Wiley Theater. Talk about that and how much fun it is for you all to be a part of the crew here.
It's marvelous. It's kind of like a family here, and I've worked at the Pikeville space, but never outdoors, which I've heard so much about. So being here for the summer is a dream, to not only work with incredible people and put on this wonderful show, but then spend the summer here in the state park is incredible.
Yeah, such talented people too. We have folks, all of these guys are actually from New York, but they also have some local talent that we love to hear about. Melody and Joey with us. Melody plays Mary Poppins, Joey the director here. Local talent, you guys have to love working with those guys.
Oh, they're all so sweet. We actually were so surprised at how well behaved and mature they are.
Because they're younger, is why you're saying that.
Yeah, exactly. But
not because they're from Kentucky.
No. I used to be a child actor, and I was not that way. Thank you, Mom. Bless you.
But they are. The talent here is amazing.
Yeah, truly. And the children's program and everything really promotes, a healthy environment and not so like competitive with each other. Everyone's so welcoming and looks out for each other. It's beautiful.
Joey, this is a celebration of the arts in the mountains of Eastern Kentucky. Absolutely. Talk about that and what you guys are promoting through your shows.
Well, I feel with 9 to 5 in particular, it's such an exciting time right now, and it's such a female-empowered show that it couldn't be a better time to tell the story. And the two shows are such a celebration of life and of family, and they have wonderful messages, both of them.
All right, you can check them out for yourself. Mary Poppins and 9 to 5 going on right now at Jenny Wiley Theater. You ready?
Working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living.
Bye. I'm Deanne Stevens, out and about. Back to you.
Good job. I didn't mean to throw that.
Some people like a lot of horsepower under the engine, and some people prefer working with actual horsepower. We'll show you some interesting classes coming up.
Now, this rain and storms and all that lightning just will not leave us alone.
Yeah, it has been a pretty active couple of days, Chris Bailey, and it continues on into our Friday night here.
Yeah, July bringing it, huh? I mean, basically every day for the month of July so far, giving us rounds of strong and severe thunderstorms and heavy rains. All the counties that are shaded in green continue to be under flash flood warnings. Those flash flood warnings extend from parts of central Kentucky all the way into the southeastern corner of the state, where we also have a severe thunderstorm warning that is out for a couple of counties, getting some wind damage reports with some trees down near Williamsburg into Whitley County. That storm now has a warning for it as it gets ready to cruise into northern parts of Tennessee. Does not have a warning for southeastern Kentucky, but if you're watching me right now to Knox County, you're watching me into Bell County, watch out. The potential is there for some damaging winds from that storm as it works its way on through. Where we've had some local high water issues a little earlier into parts of central Kentucky, finally now we're seeing the back edge of the steadier rains getting through the downtown Richmond area where we had some local high water issues. These flash flood warnings will be expiring coming up over the next hour, and really not expecting any more reports of flash flooding from these particular areas. Most of the action is now across parts of southeastern Kentucky as the back edge of the steady rains now get to the east of Interstate 75. South of 64, east of 75. That's where all the action is over the next couple of hours, and we'll continue to watch that a couple more storms may try to fire up later this evening. We'll look at a new hour-by-hour radar, guys, when I come back in just a few minutes.
Chris, thank you. It has been a pretty solemn news day, so we hope we have a couple of things to make you smile at least. A whole new meaning to horsepower and Christmas in July. It's the video that will have you talking. Take a look at this.
Some may think the days of horse and buggy driving are long gone, but some people in Oklahoma are working to keep that way of life alive. Some people prefer to work with actual horsepower on their farms or just for fun. The Oklahoma Draft Horse and Mule Association has more than 100 members, and this weekend they're teaching the basics of driving horses. People from all over Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Missouri will travel to take part, and this is the 15th year for the class.
This next story will make you take a double take. A town in Missouri is celebrating a July Christmas. Nope, you are not seeing visions of sugar plums. Those really are a bunch of Santas dressed all in red. Dozens of chubby, jolly old elves gathered for the Kringle family reunion in Branson, Missouri. Each Santa took to their sleigh, a gondola on a Ferris wheel, trying to break the record of the most Santas on a Ferris wheel. There's no word on if the record was broken, but you can be sure the Christmas spirit was quite strong. Chris Bailey and I are big fans of Christmas in July. So.
And who thought that we would know there's a record for the most Santas on a roll?
There you go.
Yeah, that's very good. Okay, much more to come, including that weather situation. Chris is really keeping a close eye on that, so that's coming up. Plus the latest from Dallas here on WKYT at 5.